We were also picked a year ago by the federal government to get a whole bunch of charging infrastructure put in here in Oregon. We're one of 5 regions around the country that got picked. That recognition as a good launch market, and their credit goes in many, many respects to members of OEVA, because you helped us build that foundation. So we have about 30 or 35 charging stations in this area right now, all powered by PG&E's green energy and the other.
And in the course of doing this work, I've come to understand that electric vehicles aren't just really cool. I mean, you look around these cars here, like, oh, that's really neat. There's a lot of neat things here, and that's great, but they're much more than that. Electric vehicles offer one of those rare opportunities to get a win-win. It's a sweet spot for Oregon, because it's that sweet spot that allows us to do what's right for the Earth and also what's good for our economy. And I want to just briefly talk for a moment about why I'm so fired up about the possibilities of electric vehicles. First of all, they're absolutely right for the Earth. I mean, everyone here knows about the challenges we're facing with global warming. Fossil fuel production, our current our current transportation system is largely responsible for that. Electric vehicles offer us a very exciting opportunity to transition away from that. First of all, because they're so much more efficient than internal combustion engines, electric vehicles emit far lower global warming gases regardless of the source of the electricity. But the real exciting opportunity is that the source of the electricity doesn't have to be fossil fuels, because most electric vehicles will wind up being charged at night. They make tremendously good use of what we now have, which is a wind energy source that blows more at night than we have the ability to use it. So that is an opportunity to increase renewables. Then we have, you can see a couple examples here, solar power charging stations that can be used to charge up the electric vehicles during the day. And then in the longer term, when we get into a smart grid, which is where we're heading, electric vehicles have the opportunity to have their batteries served with the grid to make the entire grid work better, and to make the entire grid work much, much better with renewables. So this is a tremendous transition opportunity for us in terms of how we get our energy and how our energy and our transportation makes the Earth a more sustainable place.
In 2008, we started to see Tesla owners turn to us and say, how can I get more involved? Here was a person who bought a sports car. A Ferrari would not have made this change in them. But suddenly, and there go my notes, suddenly buying a Tesla was different. It turned a car driver into an advocate. We saw it again in 2009 and 2010 with BMW Mini E owners. We are going to see it in droves with the Nissan Leaf, and it's so exciting. We're going to see it with the Volt. Our army is growing, and the impact is hard to fathom. Some of the most productive members in our group right now, some that are working on a very interesting project. It's kind of like a Mac versus PC take on gasoline versus electric. Those members didn't exist in our group over a year ago. So we're growing by leaps and bounds.
As batteries improve every year, that means there's going to be new, more capable, higher performance, and more affordable electric vehicles. One sign that this change is coming, Tesla Motors recently IPO'd. This was the first U.S. company to go public since Ford in 1956. Change is here.
City, and he wants to maintain Portland's leadership in the EV front. And we heard a little bit earlier from some other speakers about how Portland is a leader and is seen as a model nationally for electric vehicle adoption and infrastructure development. I just want to talk a little bit about what my organization and the city have been doing in terms of electric vehicles. First, in my hat as the point person for the city on electric vehicles, we formed a group within the city that works across all bureaus and is identifying ways that we can smooth the road for electric vehicles. We're looking at what parking regulations might come into play, permitting regulations, and what fleet vehicles we can replace with electric vehicles. We're really looking at every way we can to make it, to integrate electric vehicles into the everyday use in the city. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be going to City Council with a policy document that talks about our strategy for moving forward and harnessing electric vehicles and making sure that we're making as smooth a way as possible for them.
Forecast that we're going to have as many as 1 million electric vehicles sold in the United States alone in the next 10 years. And given the mess that we're seeing in the Gulf right now and the way it appears to be waking up a lot of people in our country to the risk of having an oil-based transportation system, we believe at OpConnect and others believe that those forecasts are probably not that far off. So one day, we envision a day where you're going to have tens of thousands of EVs driving around the streets of our community. And we think that's going to happen because people like you at the Oregon EVA and others like you realize that electric vehicles are a good way to decrease our dependence on oil and to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Let's keep Portland weird, but let's get Portland wired for electric vehicles. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you to both of our speakers. Thank you, Jane. All right, everyone. Enjoy Electric Vehicle Day. Enjoy all the displays we have out here. If you ask the guys at Best Buy real nice, you might get to test drive one of theirs. I hope to see you driving an EV soon. Thank you.